So, it may not be a surprise to anyone who knows me in my actual life, but back in high school, I was a choir nerd. Meaning, I was section leader, I was the only section leader to keep my section after class and say, hey guys, we gotta work on these measures because we're fucking up, and I don't like that. Everyone hated me for it. I got a lot of solos, and my name is on a plaque in the choir room at my high school because that's how deep into it I was. I also often ate lunch in the choir room with my choir teacher and like a couple other people my senior year primarily. And a lot of things he said to me over the years have stuck with me. One of the biggest things is that he had a list of rules hanging in his classroom, and number 3 was be accountable. This is something that I have kept and has stuck with me so deeply that I still remember that it was number 3. Do I remember any of the other rules? Not really. Do I remember what number any of them were if you were to tell me what the rules were? No. But number 3 was be accountable. He would shout it at us. I shouted at other people. When I got into a fight with my best friend at the time, like the year after I graduated, the petty thing I put on social media was number 3, be accountable, because I'm edgy and cool and also a big choir nerd. But the reason I bring this up is because in today's culture, we have this whole mentality that our favorite people, be it celebrities, musicians, YouTube personalities, or what have you, that they can do no wrong, and we put them up on this pedestal, and whenever somebody speaks out against them or brings up wrongdoings that they have done, that they have wrongdoing, there always seems to be this mob of people jumping on any naysayers saying, oh, well, that's just old tea, or look at what they've done, you're just jealous, or petty, or this is all bullshit. Whatever it is, like, we have a problem holding people accountable, and I take an issue with that. So, hello guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Welcome back to my channel. This is the second video I'm recording today, but since I uploaded today, I'm probably going to sit on this for a little bit before I put it out there. But after spending an hour and 13 minutes watching Creepshow Art's video talking through point by point of all the contradictions on the Jeffree Star Chris Hansen interview, which I got access to early because I'm a Patreon supporter. Shannon's like the best, like honestly one of my favorite content creators on this godforsaken hellscape of a website. Jesus, I can't talk. So, I just got to thinking on how we as people don't hold others, particularly those with any kind of perceived power, accountable. So I want to talk about that with you. Not just Jeffree Star, but also I want to dig into Chris Hansen. I want to talk about Onision, Dahvie, Vanity, just in general, like all your faves. Because we're all human and we all do fucked up shit, and we should own up to that shit, and we should hold others accountable for that shit. How many times can I say shit in a sentence? I don't know, but it's a lot, because I don't know how to not swear. But anyway, so much like my last video, this has all just been in my mind. I don't have a script like I normally would or should. I'm just going to stream of consciousness talk at you about what I'm thinking about. So I think the best place to start is with Jeffree Star, since he is the big topic of discussion right now, with the whole Dahvie Vanity situation. Now, I didn't mention this in my Dahvie Vanity video. I'm debating doing a whole video on it, but I think talking about him in this video will suffice, because people like Creepshow Art, I will have her hour and 13-minute long video about the Chris Hansen interview and the Keemstar Mom's Basement podcast interview linked below. It is a long watch, but I believe it is a very important watch. And also, TehMimi's talked about this at length. And honestly, those are the best two, I would say, that have talked about this. So I will link their videos down below, give them a watch for like more of the whole situation. But the brief rundown is that back in 2010, when Jeffree Star was doing music and Blood on the Dance Floor was huge, they toured together. And after this tour, Jeffree Star tweeted something along the lines of, "I'll say this till I die, Dahvie Vanity is a child predator. I saw him doing things with a minor." And it was like this whole big thing. And then not too long after that, he then called Dahvie Vanity his brother, and they collaborated and toured again together, which a lot of people have been rightly pointing out that if Jeffree Star did see something, that he should have gone to the authorities. But Jeffree has since been saying that, "Oh no, I didn't see anything. It was just the thing to talk about at the time, and he was getting bigger than me, so I had to knock him down a few pegs," which isn't what he said, but it's basically what he has said. Just, instead of beating around the bush, I'm just saying it point blank as it is. So, Jeffree Star says that it's a lie. His assistant also at the same time tweeted out that he saw Dahvie doing or committing sexual acts to a minor, and then later was like, "I'm so sorry, Dahvie Vanity, I love you, blah, blah, blah." I'm sorry for that noise. But but now Jeffree Star and his former assistant have been saying that they never saw anything, that they didn't know anything had happened. They were just saying it to be cool or edgy or whatever the fuck their excuse is. Which Jeffree Star has been kind of flip-flopping on it. Like, again, watch Shannon's video, Creepshow Art, because you will just see how Jeffree Star, in, like, either in the same sentence or back-to-back sentences, will say one thing and then completely contradict himself. It is fucking ridiculous. But, for him... So, sorry. Let me get my shit together, at least as best as I can. But, so the big thing that Jeffree Star has been saying, and a lot of his fans have been saying, is it's old tea. Jeffree didn't see anything. If he would have, he's disgusted by this behavior. He believes Dahvie should be in jail. Talking about him is taking away from the Dahvie Vanity situation. And to a degree, I agree with that. However, that does not mean that Jeffree Star should not be held accountable for his actions. Just like with James Charles during Dramageddon, when he spoke out saying that James is a predator and should be taken down. Again, if Jeffree Star truly didn't see anything with Dahvie Vanity and he was just saying it to knock him down a few pegs because Blood on the Dance Floor was bigger than him, then this very much parallels the situation with James Charles, because James Charles now is bigger than him, and why would you bring up these, or why would you make these allegations that you have no proof for, even though he can say left and right to hell and back that he has this proof, but he's not going to show anybody. He's not going to hand it over to law enforcement. So at the end of the day, he has nothing. He has no leg to stand on. But still, he goes around saying that he has this and that they're not the same situations. He didn't do it to try to surpass or stay above James in subscribers, which is just so petty and stupid. Jeffree Star is a multi-millionaire. He lives in this huge-ass mansion that has its own spa wing, and, he has a successful makeup company. He has a successful merch company. He does work with Shane Dawson. He doesn't need to knock anybody down to stay relevant. He's very relevant, and he will be. He's successful. He will continue to be successful, because if there's anything that Jeffree Star has shown time and time again, is that no matter what scandal he gets into, he gets out of. He's had a very, very rough past, and yet here he is, this huge creator. So, while yes, we need to be focusing on Dahvie Vanity and the victims, Like, Jeffree isn't focusing on the victims. He is just very much saying all these contradictory statements and basically telling everyone, oh, you don't need to hold me accountable because that's not the important thing right now. And maybe it isn't, but it should still be important to hold him accountable. Because if you let these people go unchecked, then he could go on and say that anyone's a child predator. He could, like, these kind of allegations discredit actual victims. They discredit actual real world crimes that have taken place, and they make it so much harder for people to be taken seriously when they do come forward as victims or survivors of crimes. So that's my piece on Jeffree Star, but I'm not done here. Chris Hansen, welcome to your tape. Now, I, for one, especially with the whole Onision investigation, have been guilty of putting Chris Hansen on this pedestal of thinking he is the end-all, be-all savior of us all. He's working with the FBI. He knows what he's doing. He's an investigative journalist. He's a hard hitter because he showed up at Onision's house, and he's going to get Onision thrown in jail because he's doing all the work. And to say I've been disenchanted is kind of an understatement. Like, the veil has been lifted, and I am now seeing him as he truly is, much thanks to Creepshow Art, who also was a fan of Chris Hansen of To Catch a Predator fame. And just, it's one of the things that people aren't going to talk about, because still people in the anti-O community are like, Chris Hansen's the best, he's the greatest, he's doing everything right by us, but he's not. Like, point blank period, he is not. That is just it. And he is not this end-all, be-all of catching predators online. Not to mention that he hired a man who had greatly destroyed the best piece of evidence we had in the case against Onision. Vincent Nakatra, like, blatantly fucked up with Sarah's laptop, and despite people calling out to Chris Hansen how Vincent needed to be fired and how he was messing up the investigation, he still kept him on. And, like, I guess he apologized, but it's still too little too late. Also, Creepshow Art makes a very excellent point in one of the videos I will have linked in the description, but just the fact that the laptop wasn't immediately handed over to the FBI is insane. That is not how investigations work. That is not what you do as an investigative reporter. That is, like, I can't even form words because I'm angry, and just, it's just so stupid. And the fact that, like, what I'm mostly mad about is that in my head, when Chris Hansen was talking about having the laptop and that he was going to send it to the FBI, in my head, I was just like, yeah, that seems right. That's fine. Chris Hansen's working so hard on this case. But that's not even it. If he wanted to do right by the victims and do right by, law enforcement standards, that would have been directly given to the FBI. There is no reason that Chris Hansen should have had it. What was he even going to do with it? Stare at it, then send it to the FBI? Because I'm pretty sure Sarah either already has contact with the FBI, or Chris Hansen could have given that to her. Otherwise, if he couldn't have, then is he even in contact with the FBI regarding this? Who fucking knows? So, there's a lot more I could say about Chris Hansen, but, and I'm going to refer you to Creepshow Art's video because I don't want to just be taking her points just because I heard them and I'm also mad about them. But anyway, now this brings me to my next person up on the chopping block here, Dahvie Vanity. Naturally, as it should be. But I guess I'm gonna kind of lump Dahvie Vanity and Onision together, because these are people who, despite there being mountains of evidence against them and numerous victims coming forward, that they still have a very loyal fan base that are very quick to jump on anybody who speaks out against them, despite anyone speaking out against them having perfectly valid reason to. And again, that just speaks to the whole mob mentality and the us putting certain people with power up on these pedestals, because I don't think the veil will be lifted from their current fans per se until they're in jail, and even then some of them will still stand by them, because that's just how it goes. Like, take Ted Bundy for example. He was this horrible killer. There was mountains of evidence, and because he was good looking, because he was charming, there was people that supported him to the end, saying like what a nice guy he was. I don't believe he did it. I believe he's framed. And it's very, very much like reminiscent of what's going on with both Onision and Dahvie Vanity. And so I guess I don't need to dive too deep into that, because I hope anyone watching my videos is intelligent. I'd like to believe you all are, and you can come to these conclusions yourself, because it's very evident. And just, I guess my point in all of this is that just because someone has any kind of notoriety, just because they hold any kind of fame or power or influence, that doesn't mean that we should sweep their wrongdoings under the rug and ignore them. I think it's important to call out people when they do something wrong, and how they respond to it is very reflective of their character. Especially because nowadays, YouTuber apologies has kind of become a meme, with the likes of Laura Lee, Jaclyn Hill, and there was another one that I was thinking about, but I'm blanking. But, Logan Paul is probably the best, worst example of an apology. But very much, a lot of these apologies are too little too late. A lot of them are faked, and it's just very indicative of a person's character. When they can do something wrong, people will hold them accountable and then see their response to that. So, it also then puts into perspective of who should we really be supporting on these platforms, whether it be YouTube or a mainstream celebrity or a musician or whatever, anyone who has this influence and power. Like, I guess TikTok is a really great example now too, because that's super relevant. So just what I'm trying to say here, and what I'd like to leave you with today, is that it's okay to hold your favorite creators or influencers accountable. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean you're any less of a fan or that you support them any less. If anything, it shows that you want them to do better and strive to be the best that they can be, just like we should all do for ourselves. So, and maybe we should reconsider who we follow or stan based on how they handle being held accountable to the things that they've done or things that they've said. I know personally I have with Jeffree Star and Trisha Paytas, who I didn't even touch on in this video, and I might sometime in the future, just because she's another prime example of someone who desperately needs to be held accountable. But what I would like to end this video on is to hold your faves accountable, and we should all strive to be the best we can be, regardless of fame or social influence. Well, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Also, thank you for putting up with my angry ranting and raving for the past couple of videos. If you like the content I've been putting out, please consider subscribing. I know that my channel is supposed to be based on fighting the patriarchy and all that, but I guess I'm heading more into like a normal YouTube commentator territory, and I'm okay with that. I could still put out videos that stay true to what I intended this channel to be, but I can still also call out other things that I see as unjust on the platform or in the world, as they should be called out and discussed. Again, hold people accountable. Nothing wrong with that. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you like what I'm doing. Like 75% of the people who watch my content aren't subscribed, and I would like to change that, so please subscribe if you're watching this. Leave a comment down below on your thoughts, concerns, comments, whatever you have, and stay safe, and I will see you guys in the next video.